So in 2009, we created the inaugural USA Science and Engineering Festival, which was the country's first and only national science festival. And we had nearly 1 million people nationwide participate in our first year of that event. But just based on the amount of excitement and the number of organizations and the number of people that attended the initial festival, I think we definitely tapped into an unmet need out there. So the second USA Science and Engineering Festival takes place throughout the month of April, but it culminates in a finale expo. We are trying to do the festival on the order of every 18 months to 2 years. We have a history of doing only 2 of these festivals, the inaugural San Diego Science Festival and the first USA Science and Engineering Festival. It takes an enormous amount of time to plan one of these when you have so many different organizations involved. We decided to locate the festival in Washington, D.C. Because when we sat back and thought about it, there is really only one place in the United States where you can have a national science festival and really people would recognize it as a national festival. Washington, D.C. is a science city in many respects. Most of the major professional science and engineering organizations are based in Washington, D.C. So if there was one place in the country in which to have a national science festival, it's here on the doorsteps of the Capitol. The thing that inspired me to start the USA Science and Engineering Festival was that I spent most of my career as a high-tech entrepreneur, and I could not recruit Americans to the advanced science positions in these companies anymore because Americans were just not going into these fields. So I thought we need to reinvigorate the interest of young people in science and engineering. The notion of these science festivals has been going on in Europe and Asia for some time quite successfully. And I thought, gee, wouldn't that be a great idea to import to the United States? Society gets what it celebrates. So as a society, we celebrate Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan, and we celebrate science and engineering through a combination of art, film, theater, comedy, music, but all celebrating science and engineering. And I fundamentally believe that if this country can't turn this downward trend around in one generation, we will have outsourced innovation. And once you've outsourced innovation, the game is over. With all the high-tech and life science startups I've done and that world that I came from of entrepreneurial startups, that's enabled me to do this science festival and to bring together, over 500 organizations, to participate in our first festival, and hopefully many more than that in our second. And if I didn't have that prior training, I would not have had the connections and the stature and so forth to be able to recruit those types of organizations to participate. We have about 125 universities and colleges involved in the festival, including all of the major colleges here in the greater Washington, D.C. area. We have Georgetown, George Mason, American University, Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland, Howard University, Gallaudet College, the College for the Deaf, and many, many more. I'm not drawing any salary to do the USA Science and Engineering Festival. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it, and I've never worked so hard on any project than this project. I literally, to put together the inaugural festival, I worked 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day, putting it on, and I wasn't doing it because I had to do it. I was doing it because I wanted to do it. So in some sense that, and then to get onto the National Mall where our first event took place and to see 500,000 people enjoying science and engineering made it all worthwhile. So if you came to our Finale Expo in the last weekend in April of 2012 here at the Washington Convention Center, you would see over 1,500 hands-on interactive activities and about 75 stage shows. So there would be the entire gamut of sophistication here, from flight simulators to virtual reality environments to surgical robots at one end of the spectrum, and at the other end of the spectrum, you can make virus structures with marshmallows and toothpicks. At the same time, you would get to meet leading science celebrities like Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman from the hit series The Mythbusters, or Bill Nye the Science Guy, and many others performing on different stages. So I'd like to think that there'll be more science here than you'll be able to get at 4 years at Harvard University, but it'll be more fun than a weekend at Disneyland.